So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. You know I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video. I'm on this. It's a little kind of cruiser bobber-esque type bike by HYOSUNG. That's right. And I know you're going, who the hell are HYOSUNG? Well, I'm about to tell you in this video. Well, I'm not really. I won't tell you the histrionics of the company, but I will tell you as much as I can about this bike. This is a first impressions ride of this little beauty here. And yes, this is another UK exclusive. This is the only one of its type in the country at the moment, as in this is the first one. It will be available for sale, but this is the only one at the moment. They kindly dropped it off the other day from Sinnis motorcycles down in Brighton on the wheel, and yeah, that doesn't make sense in itself, does it? But let me tell you a little bit about that. I'll tell you what, I'll roll the titles, then I'll tell you after that. Right, thank you for sticking around. Right, now let's get back to the confusing bit I just said. Sinnis supply this bike, as in they're the sole importer of HYOSUNG. Now some of you will not have heard of HYOSUNG and some of you will, but this is a brand new bike. This is a 300 GVS or a GV300S. Now they do a 125, but this is a 300, so it's got a little bit more poke. And you know I like small capacity bikes. I'm always open to doing little rides on them. So when they called me up and said, hey, fish, because that's how I'm addressed, if you see me in the street, go, hey, fish, and I'll probably ignore you, but nevertheless, that's how I was addressed. They went, yeah, anyway. They said, how'd you fancy being the first person in the UK to get your hands on one of these for a little test riding video? And you know me, we like a UK exclusive on this channel. We've done loads of them before, but this is the first one I've done for HYOSUNG and Sinnis. So let's get the pleasantries out the way, then we will crack on with the video. So thank you very much to the guys down at Sinnis Motorcycles down there in Brighton on the wheel. I shall drop their website down in the descriptions box below, so go and check that out. I shall also drop the specifications for this down there as well. They don't actually have it on their website yet. That's how exclusive this is. I did look this morning, but it wasn't there. I have been sent through a little kind of spec sheet, but I didn't really read it, to be honest. I saw the sunshine, and this is the first bit of sunshine we've had in days, and I took the keys and said, let's go out and ride. So when I do the walk round in a little while, I shall drop in the information there over the top like I normally do. But as we're going along, this is a barefaced first impressions ride. Right, a little bit about myself. 6'2", yes, I'm still 6'2", I'm wide in the shoulder, long in the leg, now just over 17 stone. I'm putting it on, people, I'm putting it back on. I've just had a couple of weeks off of work, and I've had too much of the old vino. So yeah, anyway, you're not here for that, you don't need to know my problems. Right, so what I do know about the bike is it's just under 300cc. It's a V-twin, it's a 60-degree V-twin. It's fuel injected and it's got ABS. There you go, that's the end of my knowledge. I retain that from a quick glance. Oh no, it has got a 6-speed gearbox as well. 1 down, 5 up, the normal. So the aim of this is I'm going to ride a little bit, tell you what I think about it, the ergonomics, suspension, engine, handling, all that sort of stuff. We're going to park up somewhere, we're going to have a little walk round where I'm going to take you through the dash and little bits on the bike and show you around. That's the aim of the game. Right, so let's crack on with the ergonomics. Let's start there. And it's not too bad. It is a little bit cramped, I'm going to be honest with that, but I do find these kind of cruiser bikes with mid-mount pegs very weird when I first get on them. I always do. I always feel like they're really too small. Then after an hour or 2 hours or a week with them, I really get on with them. And the problem I've got is I come from an Africa twin, so I'm used to being up there in the air and having plenty of room. So when you got a bike like this, it does feel a little bit alien. So at the moment, yeah, I'm in alien land. Right, so the bars to pegs to seat ratio, that little triangle, is quite cramped for me in the lower half. The actual seat to the bars is very, very nice. It's a nice position for me. A little bit of a stretch for a small bike, I've got to say. But I think if you are smaller, you'll probably lean forward a bit more, which is not a bad thing. You get more feel through the front that way. But it's just the shape of my body, because I am so tall and big, that it kind of puts me in this position where I'm sat quite upright, literally bolt upright with the top half of my body, and my arms are almost locked out. But it's not uncomfortable at all. Now the problems for me is down here, no, not there. When I'm saying downstairs, I don't mean that. That's not a problem, leave it. I mean with the legs. I've got really long legs, as in my thigh bones are quite long. Now on the pegs, my thighs sit flat, so that's not too bad. As I said, I'm getting a little bit of cramp in my hips because I'm not used to riding in this position. It does take a little bit of time. Every bike you get on will take a little bit of time to get used to. I did it with the CMX 500 and the CMX 1100 and the Harley Davidsons when I had those with mid-mount controls. It took me a little bit of a while to get used to them. Now I would prefer forward controls for comfort, but for handling I would take mid-mount controls every day of the week. Seat, basically I've only got one position, have I? Yeah, it's literally one position, just scoops you and cups you there. Not uncomfortable. The seat is actually quite pleasant. So the whole triangle is not too bad. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. If you do have short legs or are shorter in stature, then this bike will be absolutely perfect. I've got no doubt. The only reason I'm finding it slightly uncomfortable is, as I said, because of my long legs. I look like a stick insect riding a toy. Right, up front I shall go through the clocks when we do the walk arounds. We've got basic key in the middle and mirrors and all your gubbins up here. The mirrors are okay, I can see behind me. This bit, half of the mirror, is kind of redundant. I can see my arms in that, but the outside bit I can pretty much see everything I want to see. I wasn't sure how the tyres were going to hold up then. It's a little bit damp and they're brand new tyres. The bar width is nice. The mirrors, yeah, this bit redundant, that bit you can see behind you. I would probably get bar end mirrors on this just to complete the look. The wind blast, obviously I'm getting wind blast. It's a naked bike, but there's no problem on a naked bike. It's pure wind, so you don't get buffeted about, so that's not a problem. Right, the engine, so far it's kind of surprised me. It really has. I looked on it and it's 298cc, I think. It's a V-twin, 60-degree V-twin. And you know, you just don't expect a lot. I expected it to be really, really weak. But you know what? It's not. It's really pleasant. I mean, it's not going to set your world on fire. It's not like a big Harley or a massive engine cruiser. But you can really get a little bit of a wriggle on with this. And I'm surprised at that. I mean, we're sitting at 60 miles an hour on a country lane. And it's very, very nice. We're only at 6,000 revs in 6th gear. And it redlines at 10,000. So you can see how much you've got left to play with. It is a V-twin, so you kind of lose it in the top end of the rev range. You've got to short shift it. But as you know, I love a little bit of short shifting. Noticed on the dashboard as well, it's got a gear indicator. I'm a fan of gear indicators. I never knew I was until I had one, and then I had a bike without one, and then realised, do you know what? I really like gear indicators. So the engine's actually quite pleasant. A little bit vibey, but not too bad. I'm not sure what it's going to be like when I hit right up towards the 10,000 revs. When you're sitting on the motorway, it might be a bit vibey. But for everyday stuff, cruising back lanes like this, it's quite pleasant. My nether regions have not gone numb yet. That's always a good sign. It doesn't sound bad either. It's got a nice little burble to it. It's quite deep for a little 300. I'm not sure if you can get an aftermarket can on here, but I would like to hear it with one. When we do the walk round, I'll let you have a little listen. This is my road where I test the suspension and the handling. It's not the fastest of road, but it's very, very bumpy. Got to watch out because it's been raining for 3 days solid on these country lanes. It kind of pushes the gravel into the middle. You get a little build up of little gravel piles, so you've got to be careful. You can see it there, all the crap in the road, but we shall persevere. We'll have a little bit of fun. because to me that's what this bike's about. A little bit of fun on back roads like this in the country, the UK. Small capacity bikes on roads like this are just fantastic. As I said, it's got ABS at front and rear. Hopefully I won't have to test that. This is why I prefer mid-mount foot pegs for roads like this. You just muscle it a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. You get more feeling through the bike. When you've got forward-facing pegs, you don't get that feeling so much. I can feel the tyres starting to just slide a little bit. We're not starting, but I can feel them sliding because they're brand new. So I don't mind the back sliding, that doesn't bother me at all. As long as the front doesn't go, we should be all right. And it has been the back so far. But this is a very, very greasy road. Do you know what? This is handling this fantastically. This is a budget bike. I'm not sure of the price because they didn't have it on the website and they didn't send it to me in the bump. The 125 is just over 3.5 grand, so this will obviously be more than that. And for a budget bike, the suspension is soaking up these bumps quite nicely. It's doing an okay job. And handling wise, it's okay. It's a little bit strange because of the ergonomics, but it is fun. And that's the main point of a bike to me, is fun. You've got to be able to have fun on a bike, otherwise I'm not interested. Doesn't matter what CC it is, what style, can I have fun? If I can't, you can have the keys back. You've got to work the gearbox a little bit with a short shift, but it's fun. It's a nice bike. You've got to remember this is a cruiser. I'm not riding it in a cruiser style. Laid back cruising is fantastic at. But what I'm doing is kind of pushing it beyond what it's supposed to do. Because every now and again, you like to get a little bit of a hustle on. Right, so I'm going to conclude this little bit here. I will come back to you in a bit. We're going to do a walk round at some point. I might do it in Box Hill car park because that's where we're heading now, because I'm bloody starving. So I'm going to grab some food, grab myself a coffee, and if the car park's free at the back, I shall do the walk round in the car park here, and then we crack on and ride some more. If not, I shall ride some more, then do the walk round somewhere else. But anyway, it's enough of me waffling on. Let's get some food. You could probably hear my belly from there. There we go. Neutral was nice and easy to find. Side stand's nice and easy to find. There's the bike. That's nice and easy to find too. Right, so here we have the HYOSUNG 300, the GV300S. Little kind of bobber cruiser type motorcycle. And you know what? I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you like the look of it? Yes or no? You don't have to. But you know what? Out here in the countryside, sun shining, I've got to say, I think it looks pretty damn good, especially in this kind of matte black diamond metallic. I think they call it diamond black. But yeah, anyway, let's have a little look round. As per usual, I shall start at the front and then we'll work our way around and then we'll go through the dash. So let's crack on. On the front we have a 120/80/16 tyre on there, so a 16-inch rim on the front, single-sided disc which is ABS, and normal forks. They got these lovely gaiters on. I do like the look of those. I don't know what it is about gaiters, but they do suit this type of bike, kind of that retro vibe. It is liquid cooled, and there's the radiator in there. It's kind of a nice slim radiator, fits in the frame quite nicely. Right, back here you've got this airbox type thing on the side, bit like the Harley Sportster. Under there you've got the V-twin. That's right, it's a V-twin 300, 298cc, so not bad, and it sounds good. A little V-twin on a cruiser, that's quite cool. I like that. And then back here you got the foot pegs, which are mid-mounted, and then the rear brake. It is all blacked out. The frame's black, the swing arm's black, the exhaust is black. I've got to admit, while we're on the exhaust, that doesn't look too good. I mean, it sounds okay, but if you can get one, swap that out, it'll sound better, but more importantly, it'll probably look better. On the back you've got a rear foot peg, a little bit of rubber on there to give it a little bit of vibration damping, and same on there. You can't really feel too much of the vibrations through the pegs, a little bit through the seat, but not too bad. When you rev it high you can feel it a little bit more, but it's not too bad at all. Right, back tyre is a 150/80/15, so you've got a 15-inch rim on the back and a 16-inch rim on the front. On the back there we've got a disc which is ABS, so it's ABS rear and ABS front. The suspension has a little bit of adjustability on the back down here, not a lot. I'm just using it as it comes out the box. So you've got one there and two there. Oh, exciting stuff. You've got two bits of suspension on the back. Bouncy, bouncy. Not sure what's under here. I don't want to start taking stuff off at the side of the road, but probably the battery and stuff like that. But that's a nice little kind of number board, kind of flat track hark back type of thing. You know what I mean. I don't, but you might. On this side, obviously, it's the other side of the suspension. You got chain. That is quite a big sprocket. That is why it's got a nice bit of acceleration and low down shove. It's got a really, really big sprocket on the back. I'm not sure what size it is, but it suits the bike really well. It gives it a nice bit of shove for a little 300 off the mark. Again, rear foot peg, and then front gears. As I said, 1 down, 5 up, so 6 speed. And there's the engine, a little 300 V-twin. Beautiful. Up here you've got a nice little seat, little scooped bucket type thing there for your booty, and it's not bad. It is quite comfortable. Can't obviously say what it's like for a pillion, but I'm guessing a lot of 300s won't take pillions on the back. What does it say there? It says a Grand Voyage on the back there. Have no idea. Oh no, I do. Now I know what the GV stands for. The GV in the GV300S stands for Grand Voyage. Don't know what the S stands for. Let's go Sports, because of the mid-mounted pegs. I'm guessing at that, because the Sportster has mid-mounted pegs on the Harley range, so I'm guessing the S stands for Sport. But if it's wrong, oh well, never mind. Let's turn the lights on and have a little look at the lights. Right, we've got bulbs. Haven't seen that for a while. I do like to see LEDs on all bikes, but this is a cheap bike, I am guessing. Again, I'm not quite sure of the price, but we've got bulbs on the front, that's full beam and normal beam, and we've got bulbs on the indicators. And there you go. Right, round the back. It's bulbs on the indicators, but I'm not 100% sure. It actually looks like LEDs on the back light. It might be a bulb with some kind of fancy reflector, but it looks like LED on the back and then bulbs. But don't quote me if it's not an LED. I'm only here as an unprofessional reviewer. Up here is the tank. Let's see what it's like. Oh yeah, it's one of those again. I don't like this about these bikes, but the fact they don't have the nozzle for the unleaded, it's just a straight hole. But not a deal breaker. You just have to remember not to put diesel in it. But then again, if you do put diesel in your motorcycle, you're a little bit of an idiot. Let's face it. This is a bit annoying as well. I don't like this. I don't like this gap there. I don't know what this gap's for. Could be quite painful if you trap your bits down there, couldn't it? But it's got a gap nevertheless. I didn't notice it when I was riding. It wasn't uncomfortable. I didn't feel like my bits were falling down there. And there you go. Oh, these tyres, they're Timsons. Timsons, never heard of them, but they actually look like Continental copies. I don't know if you've seen these. Are they Conti Attacks, these? Leave a comment in the comment section. Are these Conti Attacks they're copying? It says on them, what does it say? It says Timsum. Can you see that there? It's upside down, but it says Timsum Excel Beyond. Excel Beyond what? I don't know, but evidently they excel beyond. Oh, down here as well you've got little oil view light. I like those because they make things handy, make it a little bit easier. And then you've got your brake reservoir there, you've got your oil fill up there. I'm looking to see if it's got any keyholes so bits come off, but it doesn't seem to. The back end, it's nice, it looks like it all bolts on just with this one screw here, so I'm not sure if you can get an aftermarket tail tidy for that, but chop the back end off for that and it'll look alright. Hold on, let me see if I can do it for you. There you go. That didn't work, did it? Anyway, let's crack on with the dashboard. Let's go through the bars and then we'll go through the dash. Right, on the left hand side here we've got clutch, you got your full beam on off, you got your push to pass back here, hazard lights, indicators is standard, push to cancel, then underneath is your hooter. Let's turn it on so you can have a little bit of hooterage. Oh, exciting stuff. Over this side is your kill switch and then your starter. Now to start it you do need to hold the clutch in, so it won't start with just one hand because the other hand is holding the camera. And here you have front brake and then your throttle. Mirror, mirror. Wow! Right, quick little run through of the dash. Little needle sweep. It says get ready there. I do like that. I like a little bit of a message on the dash when it starts up. I don't know why, but I do. Right, round here you've got the rev counter and it redlines at 10,000 revs, which is quite a lot for a V-twin. Down here you've got engine management light, you've got your ABS light, your neutral. I assume one of these is full beam. There you go, that's your full beam there, and I'm not sure what that is. Let's see, that's your indicator light. There you go. On the dashboard here itself, on this little screen, you've got a fuel gauge here. They are empty boxes, they're not full up, but they are as standard. Each one of those is a little bit of fuel. It's not because they're empty, they're just empty boxes. Around here you've got engine temperature, and then you've got your speedo there, and down here is a little bit of information here. It has got a gear indicator, it's in neutral at the moment. I shall use this little button up here to change that. So there you've got the odo, which is the odometer, in case you didn't know. Oh, I know why you come here is for all these genius bits of information. So that's 37 miles, and then you got your trip A, and then your trip B, and then you've got a clock as well, which is obviously not set because it's definitely not 10:30 in the evening. And then back to neutral. So that's about it for the dashboard. It is quite simple, but it's easy to read. The numbers are easy to read. It is backlit. I don't know if you can see that on here, but if you press this a number of times it changes the backlight, so you can have it on. Let's go up to, that's your full backlight, and then you can dial it down to that, which is basically nothing. It's exciting, isn't it? So that's about it for the HYOSUNG GV300S, the little walk round. It's quite a simple bike, but there's nothing wrong with having a simple bike. It means if things do go wrong, they're simple to fix, which is a great thing. So there you go. Let me know what you think about it. As I said before when we did this walk round, drop a little comment downstairs. Let me know what you think of the looks of this bike. I wish I could tell you the price, but I'm going to have to email them to find out. If I do find out before this video goes live, I shall drop it on the screen. If not, get in touch with Sinnis Motorcycles down there in Brighton. I shall leave a link to their website downstairs in the descriptions box, so give them a call or drop them a line via email or something, and they'll be able to tell you. They'll be able to tell you a lot more than I will, maybe even in a more professional manner, who knows. Anyway, let's crack on and ride some more. Right, I don't know why, but there seems to be massive amounts of traffic on this road, so we're going to turn off. We're going to abandon the A25 and we're going to run down some other little A and B roads. We're going into the countryside, deepest, darkest countryside. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Hopefully this car won't be in front of us for much longer, because because this bike on these roads is fantastic. It is a nice way to de-stress. Fantastic. Right. I'll tell you what, for a little 300, it's pretty good. You can feel the limits of its suspension over big bumpy roads like this, fast roads, because obviously it's not designed for this. It's not a dual sport bike, it's not an adventure bike, it's a bloody cruiser. But doesn't mean you can't have fun. Don't you? Brakes work. ABS didn't even kick in there, nice and progressive on the brakes, gives you a good bit of feel, even when Range Rovers pull out in front of you. Might be a test for the suspension here. Got a bit of a jump over the level crossing. Right. Oh dear. Wasn't too bad actually. It's quite a nice smooth landing. Okay. We didn't do supercross air, but we took off just a little bit. A little bit greasy under the trees, but it's handling it really, really well. These tyres, now they've warmed up a little bit and bedded in slightly, they're not too bad at all. I'm not sure what they'd be like if it's absolutely peeing down with rain, but when it's kind of this semi-dry, it's not too bad. They're not sliding all over the place. The front feels quite planted. The back slides a little bit, but not in a scary way. It's just because it hasn't bedded in properly and I'm a bit of a lump. Sun's out, which makes a change. This is very, very pleasant indeed. Nice breeze through the jacket. Beautiful countryside. Cool little bike. This is what biking's all about. It's all about the feeling. Yes, you can go out and have a blast, have fun. It's all about what you feel at the time. Sometimes I ride 125s and I feel just as good on those as I do on 1000cc sports bike. It depends on my mood and what I set out to do. And today I knew I was coming out for a little bit of a cruise in the countryside. And I've got to say, well done to this little 300. It's a very pleasant place to be. It's fantastic cruising around like this. Even though we've got cars in front of us, we're doing 40 miles an hour on a 60, so we're not kind of caning it, but it doesn't make any difference. I still feel good on this bike. I've grown into it, I've got used to it. It's not as uncomfortable as when I first got on it. My legs have got used to it. I've kind of moulded into it. The stick insect is now kind of a daddy long legs. Nice bit of engine braking downhill here. We're in third. Touch of the front brake. So the suspension, it soaks up the bumps nicely. It's not too harsh, it's not too soft, but you will feel its limits when you're pushing on. Now it's non-adjustable on the front. The rear's got a little bit of adjustment, but I've got it just how it came to me. I haven't touched it at all. So if you're riding normally, sedately, kind of like this, there's no problems with it whatsoever. But if you do like to hustle and push on, and I mean really push on, you're going to find the limits of it. So get in your mind when you get on a bike like this, as you're out to chill out, you're out to enjoy the countryside, you're out to just poodle around, you're not out to blast. And once you get it in your mind that that's the case, then a bike like this is very, very enjoyable. And the fact that you can hustle it a little bit just gives you an added bonus to it. So that's a nice thing. In traffic, as I said, nicely balanced, very easy to get on with. It's got enough poke to overtake, even on dual carriageways. But for plodding around to the shops and back, if you want to do that sort of thing, this bike could be excellent. I'm really growing to like it, can you tell? And I know what you're saying. Fish, you like every bike, and that is correct. I do like most bikes because I believe there is no such thing as a bad bike. There's just bikes you get on with and bikes you don't get on with. Okay, some fall to bits, some break down, some do all sorts of things, and they're probably bad bikes. But I mean, actually, in riding experience, that's what I mean. And this, I've got to say, is up there again as a nice riding experience. I came out today to chill out, and it's helped me do that no end. I'm relaxed, I'm de-stressing, and that's what motorcycling is about for me. It's about de-stressing, it's about chilling out, kicking back and enjoying life. Even stuck behind a recovery truck, which is stuck behind a bicycle. Right, so let's conclude the video before it starts raining, because it looks like it's going to rain on me and I'm about 20 miles away from home. So you don't want to listen to my misery all the way back because I've got a mesh jacket on and it's raining on me. So we shall get on with it. Ergonomics, pretty good. Now I've got used to it. Bars to pegs to seat ratio is okay. I'm a little bit too long in the leg for this bike, I'll be honest, but it's okay. I've molded into it nicely, but I probably wouldn't want to ride this all day, every day on long journeys. But for cruising around and doing this sort of stuff, it's fine. The brakes are very good for what they are, in the fact that they stop you, they feel good. It's got a nice feeling through the hand lever and the foot lever. There's no surprises, they do what they're supposed to do. The suspension is okay. As I said, it does get out of shape a little bit when you're pushing on, and I mean pushing on quite hard, not normal riding, because when you are normal riding like this and just cruising around, it's absolutely spot on. The engine is a little peach, I've got to say. It's a little beauty, this engine. I wasn't expecting much. Now, it doesn't give you breakneck speed, but what it does give you is enough grunt to get you off the line quite quickly ahead of the traffic and to keep you there. And it's smooth. It's a V-twin, so you short shift, even though it revs up to 10,000 revs, I'd short shift this, which I have been doing, and it's very pleasant, very rewarding. You can push on, it will hustle, but sitting like this and cruising around, doing basically what this bike was designed to do, it's very, very nice indeed. Very little in the way of vibrations. Handling wise, it handles quite well. I mean, it's got a 16-inch front wheel, 15-inch rear wheel. Hasn't got the greatest tyres on. It's not designed to be like breakneck speed Moto 2 kind of razor sharp handling, but it does the job. There's no surprises there. It hasn't caught me out at all. I haven't felt like it's about to just throw itself down the road and launch me into a tree at any point, which is a bloody good thing. I'm impressed. The whole thing as a package, I've got to say, I'm impressed. Like I said before, my preconceptions with this bike, I'm going to squash them up into a tiny little ball. Very small, in fact. I'm going to squish it, and then I'm going to throw it over my shoulder and hopefully out of the window. Not that there's any windows when you're outdoors. It's metaphorical. Don't go there. But this bike, I'm impressed. I really am. I'm enjoying it. It's better than I ever thought it would be. Oh, I see a twisty sign. Before I fully conclude, let's have a little bit of twistiness. Oh, it's starting to rain. Well, there you go, it's starting to rain, so I'm definitely going to end the video now because you don't want to hear me cry. Don't forget to go over to Sinnis's website. I shall leave the link to their website downstairs. That's where you can get one of these, the HYOSUNG GV300S. It is imported by Sinnis down there in Brighton at On The Wheel Motorcycles. I shall leave the link to their websites down there. If I can get hold of a link for this bike specifically, I'll drop that down there. But for now, as I said, this is a UK exclusive, so not even that information is out on their website yet. But if I can get it, I will link it, trust me. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, do all those things that you need to do. If you want to leave a comment, leave that downstairs in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can get the drop on these videos. I shall see you on the next one. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get gone. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get gone.